for today, I'm going to share a little bit about myself, or rather my past, specifically for set design for television, which I was actively engaged in doing for at least 4.5 years. But in my close to 10 years in the industry, it was a continuous process. So as I'm speaking over my real-time sketch of this Queendom 2 stage for round 2, which I admittedly got quite obsessed over since starting talking over Luna's performance stage, and I admit rekindled certain aspects of my love for stage design. It is something which is close to my heart, and something which I chose not to do only because of circumstances and not because of not enjoying it, if that makes any sense. But then again, it's a story that nobody asked for, but I'm okay to share it now, because I think years on, I think it's been 20 years since my last stage design actually for broadcast, 2001 for Channel U, back then when it's still with SPH Media Works, and this is the second time I've mentioned it, only because I don't know if anybody listening in has any impression of that. Anyway, move on. Maybe one day I might talk a little bit more about that, only if I manage to get bigger visuals than I have currently, which is small low-res images, so no point talking about something that's low-res. Anyway, coming back, my tenure in designing for TV lasted about 4.5 years. But before that, again, I'll flashback to when I was studying for interior design, or rather I graduated with a diploma in interior design. So interior design, taught my class after 3 years. Right after my graduation, I went into the army. It's a conscript. Singapore boys to men have to go to the army, and back then this was in late 80s, close to early 90s. So I went into the army. During that time I served 2.5 years, also because I was diploma. The higher level of your education, they actually serve a bit more. So I served 2.5 years. The rationale then was I actually deferred my army because I repeated my secondary 4, whereas the rest of my peers either went to the army or they went to a junior college or polytechnic. So I was totally outside of my batch that I studied with for 4 years in secondary school. So when I graduated secondary, I went straight to Baharudin. That's the VITB, the earlier incarnation of ITE now anyway. And that was a 3-year course in diploma. So I delayed my army conscript for 4 years maybe. Not that it was a necessary, I could have gone in, but literally it was 4 years deferred. So when I graduated, I went straight to the army. So essentially when I came out to work, there was a lapse of 2.5 years. I celebrated my 21st birthday in the army, man. So that was a milestone. Came out, started work, my first paid work. I got my paycheck when I was like 22, 23, so I started really late. And back then, as a junior interior designer and part of a larger design firm, which I'm always grateful for, because I put into practice what I've learned years prior in interior design, space management. Probably that story will be told at another time, but fast forward a little bit. 1.5 years spent in interior design. Near the end of my tenure, I call it the end because I remembered seeing an ad on television, and they were seeking employment for folks in the then TCS. No, then was SBC, Singapore Broadcasting Corporation. I remember it was SBC. So they were advertising for folks, and one of it was set designer, which frankly, I had zero clue about, except for, now this again flashback during the army times. During the army, 2.5 years, where I have consistent freelance for designing stage. And when I say stage, it's for events company that I design for a lot of it, like product launches. So it could be a fashion jeans launch. I've also done car launches. So they needed a temporary stage where folks are invited to a venue and they watch a show. There's dancers, there's a host talking about the product that they're launching and the show. So that sort of, in essence, in my mind, clicked as set design. I had no knowledge of TV set design back then when I saw the ad. Now we fast forward to the ad lah. I had no knowledge of what set designer means. And even when I researched it, back then internet wasn't a thing as much as me asking around lah. So word of mouth was more legit than internet, to put it very mildly. That came much later. Years later. Anyway, coming back to the ad I saw on television, and I was intrigued, but I only acted on it a month later. A month later, after watching the ad, that I actually contacted SBC again back then, and mentioned the ad I was watching, and I asked to be able to be interviewed. At that point, I was told that the recruitment was over. It was over already 1 month later. The positions were filled, and that they were not looking for anyone else. But being absolutely self-confident, I pitched and bugged the powers that be to come for an interview. That I will meet whoever I will be meeting, and showcase my portfolio and share with them what I have done and what I'm capable of doing, without the caveat was they needn't hire me if they did not want to. Not at all. So it's just for an opportunity for me to pitch and to showcase myself lah. And bless the powers that be, I managed to secure an opportunity to go in and pitch. I remember there are 3 persons. The 3 persons which I found out later to be department heads. But back then, I have no clue who they were. I was sure they introduced themselves, but of course I was clueless lah. And I pitched what I pitched. I pitched my design work, stage designs as I did, the freelance jobs. And not long after I got the job, they told me, I can't remember what they told me. Either somebody left or they found a position for me, but I'll always be eternally grateful because I had an opportunity to step into broadcast design. And I stepped in and I designed as part of the variety department. That means I didn't do dramas, I did variety, entertainment. So literally design stages for entertainment shows, talk shows, game shows, through via different languages from English to Mandarin. I've not done a lot of Malay. I always remember one milestone like award ceremony, and also Indian shows, children game shows, talk shows, morning talk shows, variety programs, one-off specials, New Year specials. I have 4.5 years worth of portfolio, which I'm extremely proud of. This was maybe in early 90s. I left mid-90s. I was wrong, mid-90s. I think I joined 1995. It dawned on me right now because I recently did a blog post on my TuneStock where I remembered in around 94, I toured Germany. It was a last minute thing, met up with a bunch of friends. They're saying, oh, we're going to Germany the following week or the following month. And I say, okay, I'll join you. And that's when I quit my interior design gig, went for the tour, came back, and joined the broadcast company. So that was then. So 4.5 years later, I left about 2000, or is it 1998? 99, probably 99 or 2000, probably 98, 99. I'm not 100% sure. I know I left when I did my third feature film. I did my first and second feature film while I was still in SBC, Singapore Broadcasting Corporation, turned to Television Corporation of Singapore, TCS. So I was there to see the change, but I left before it converted to MediaCorp right now, MCS. So yeah, I did see the changeover. I remembered designing the stage for the dinner and dance for the changeover from SBC to TCS too. So that was one of my early stage designs. Proof, you can call it proof. But then there was that, and that's my story. And my video has ended. And then I will end my sharing session now. And probably, not probably, I'm in the mood to talk more, but maybe in a later video. But right now, this is the end of the video. Okay, this is an addition to my video, my sketch video. So just wanted to show off. I went back and did some darker line work for the stage I was doodling. Bearing in mind, of course, the scale. I mean, disclaimer city lah. The scale is all wrong and totally not accurate. But admittedly, drawing this literally spurred up my enjoyment of drawing. I did not enjoy what I was doing when I stopped doing it, but I stopped doing it for practical purposes lah. But having said that, being able to draw this again excited myself personally, and yeah, probably I'll be delving more into set designs of the past, of my past anyway, and sharing more with folks in time to come. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.